Good morning, Dan. I am coming to you from yesterday, but I'm showing you today's weather because it is exactly like yesterday's weather. So really, it's today, it's yesterday, today, yesterday. You know what I mean? So I did not post this last video last night because I was exhausted. Why was I exhausted? Because I started the day out with Trinona. So I did swim angeling again. There was a big group of us. Here's a group picture. And for the water was a little chillier than last year. It was like high 60s, maybe low 70s. So I was out on the long course for about an hour, really doing nothing more than occasionally swimming, but mostly directing traffic. I got cold. My index fingers got numb on the tips, and I was shaking in the water, which was a fun experience. It was different than, it's different. It was a different kind of cold than sitting in the river or swimming in Estonia, but I was cold. And then on the short course, I did pretty much what I did last year. I didn't have anybody to accompany, but I just went out on the course and found people who were in distress and then swam with them until the end. One guy in particular, his name is John. He's a radiologist at Mayo. He is from Eugene. And, he was just, he was in a lot of distress. It's just so easy under those circumstances. If you never wear a wetsuit, I mean, it really, you've worn one, I think. It really squeezes your chest. Race stress, unfamiliar water, and then once you get into what probably would be considered like a respiratory, maybe distress is too strong of a word, freak out, that's pretty strong. Anyway, so I essentially just help people like John through the course. This was the first year they had aquabike, which was instead of a triathlon, it was a duathlon, I guess, or a biathlon, and it was just swimming and biking. So Todd did that. He took first over all of the aquabikers for the sprint, and the sprint is like 440-yard swim, and then I don't know how long the bike was. And here is Todd on the podium. So he was pretty happy about that. I thought about doing the aquabike. Yeah, I just didn't feel like it. So I preferred to do the swim angeling thing. Although in retrospect, maybe I would have done the aquabike. But that's fine. So anyway, it's came home from that. Actually went to Mugby, did some work, of course. And then I came home. And then I started the home stuff. So this is the home stuff we started. So first thing I actually want to talk about is that bird right there. So she's built a nice little nest. It's a robin, which we know it's a robin because when you look at these eggs, you can see. So I just held my phone up there and took a picture. That was, I think, a week and a half ago. And then day before, Beth and I are sitting out here drinking coffee and reading, and mama bird comes back, and suddenly we see these three little mouths peep up above the edge of the nest. So here's a picture of the little birdies. But what we did yesterday is I went and picked up, actually over the last 2 days, I went and picked up the bushes from Winona Nursery as part of our backyard project. So here are the 5 bushes that I put in. These are on 4-foot centers. I was talking about taking this fence out, but these guys are gonna put in, our neighbors are gonna put in a fence for their dogs. So I just am gonna leave this and they can use it. So we put in these 5 bushes. I didn't have Glenn's truck, so I couldn't pick up the crabapple tree that goes there. And there's another crabapple, if you remember from the last video, I'm sure you do, that goes right there. So because the second crabapple that arrived had a crook in the trunk, they're actually gonna bring me a much bigger one that's on a root ball like with burlap around it, and they are going to plant it. But they're not going to charge me, which is nice. And then I planted these 6 bushes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was a little tougher because of these trees. There were a lot of roots I had to bang away at with my pickaxe. And then that is the giant pile of weeds that Beth pulled off of that fence line. So there was just all of these vines and weeds growing. This week I'm going to be pulling this fence. And I think actually my neighbor Pat's going to be able to use it. So he doesn't have to buy more fencing. So that was our day yesterday. It was a longish day, as you can imagine. I sat down. I did not want to get back up. Beth made homemade spaghetti sauce for dinner with French bread and corn and green beans. And I tell you, food never tasted so good. So I need to make a video about food, the difference between highly processed food and real food, and the difference it's made in my blood sugar and how I feel during the day. So anyway, that is my video from Sunday, June 9th. And it's my story, and I'm sticking to it.